I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Yep, you want your boy? Go pick him up. He's over here, on a fucking concrete where I left him.
On an individual level, we have to learn that they are vile.
Not worth the calories.
And you're Gen Z, and you won't date me.
The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
Gentlemen, welcome. Please find a seat and relax. We have a lot to discuss. Welcome, one and all. I'm KC.
And I am DC.
And we are two goddamn gentlemen, bringing to you this and every week a celebration of all things stifling free speech and stifling Native Americans while you're at it.
Zucked.
Head over to twogoddamngentlemen.com to cast your ballot in the Hall of Gentlemen voting booth. The next time we convene, we will begin eliminating gentlemen from the running. On the website, you can also find a link to our Twitter, a link to our YouTube, and a link to our Patreon, where you gain access into our live Discord during all free and bonus episode. Our newest bonus episode will be available when this comes out. DC, you could be the second person in our first year to leave us a voicemail by calling 321-POV-FUCK. And don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast feed you use. If it's Apple Podcasts, you know what to do. Leave a 5-star rating and a review telling us which of our first 50 episodes got you the hardest.
Oh, man, that would have been episode number 6. Whoa, which one was Russell Greer? His mouth, something about his mouth
Two?
And how it's always wet.
We peaked so early. DC,
Yeah.
if you would please read back the minutes to last week's meeting.
It would be a pleasure, Casey. Mark Zuckerberg. Not a gentleman, Casey. The internet fucking hates him. It was negative 13. That's a bad number to start.
He's a good guy. I don't get it.
Dude, he's a robot, is what he is. Andrew
He's
Jackson.
a good robot.
He is a good robot. Andrew Jackson, who stifled a lot of Native Americans. And I omitted this funny fact last week because I thought in my drunken stupor that I would just remember it. And I didn't. At Andrew Jackson's funeral, they had to take his parrot out because it was swearing so much that it was like bothering the funeral. So like, get this fucking bird out of here. Totally a gentleman. Andrew Jackson +4. Love it. Love to see it.
I would guess that bird would get canceled in 2021 if we could hear what it was saying. Oh,
shit. Yeah. But it would get a popular YouTube channel before it was knocked off its pedestal, to be fair. So
that's right.
We do have a top 10 and bottom 10. Seeing as you have more in the top 10 than bottom 10, why don't you start us off at number 10?
Well, I'm happy to report that Dr. Seuss has made the top 10.
Not canceled. It's not on this show.
He has been resurrected here tonight, DC. 9th overall, plus 34, by the way, for Dr. Seuss. Jesse Lee Peterson, immortalized in our outro, at a plus 42. The ever-witty Ben Shapiro at a plus 47, in position number 8. 7th place, it's Milo Yiannopoulos at a plus 49, and Milo, I can't wait to see what the next few weeks and months brings with Milo and his new venture. DC, tremendous news.
Yeah.
The people, they knew this was week 50, and they know that people start getting eliminated soon. And the people went out and voted this week, and not only did they not vote for one person, but they really voted for a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And that's taken Harry Vox from the top of the list all the way down to 6th place.
Unbelievable.
At a plus 55. That's just tremendous news.
Yeah, I thought it was weird when he got all the way up to the top, and it had to have been the work of 1 or 2 raving lunatics that are in the YouTube comments. Oh, we got a great resounding comment of our smashing success on this podcast and our YouTube channel. Some YouTube nobody said, "This channel is boring and unbearable." So I'm pretty sure, yeah, Joe Rogan got a few of those comments at the beginning too. So we're right on the right path.
Yeah, we should be fine. DC, unlike this podcast, which is unbearable, it has been a meteoric rise for the great John McAfee. He's in the top 5 already.
And why shouldn't he be? And why shouldn't he be?
There's no reason. Plus 61 for him.
Yep.
And then you got Steven Crowder, a surprise 4th place. I mean, he's just like a funny comedian, but he's
well, I thought that was weird too, and so I'm like, well, maybe something happened with Crowder or something like that, because I haven't been following his show or anything. I haven't really heard anything about him. Dude, he's been in the hospital for like the last, I don't know, month and a half or something. Like, he had a collapsed lung that damn near killed him, and they had to like inject him with
that's
shit.
actually
He, like, ballooned
COVID.
up. It's
COVID.
Yeah. They took out Christopher Hitchens with cancer. They tried to take out Steven Crowder with whatever this is that he got, and he's on the slow road to recovery. But I guess he was like a ghost on all social media because he thought he was legitimately going to die. So he's like, yeah, I'm not going to make any updates until I know that I'm like actually making a turnaround. So almost lost a good one, but top 4 and still alive, apparently.
Well, I didn't nominate him, so he shouldn't die, right? Like, that's been my problem the first 50 episodes here.
Yeah, I don't have that. Well, except John McAfee, but I did it posthumously, so,
Yeah. DC, your highest ranking person for the first 50 episodes. It's just perfect. It's Brigham Young.
I hate that so much.
It's my
Whatever.
favorite part.
He's there. He's there. He's a gentleman. I said it, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then, now, are we considering this? I don't think we're based on the graphic stuff, right? We're not considering this the final top 10 and bottom 10. Are we going to let them vote, including our week 50 guys, our nominations from tonight, to like have a full roundup of the first 50? And then like in a week, because we're not doing an episode next week. So in a week, we release the official top and bottom 10.
Right. And then we give them 2 weeks to reshuffle all the people with just 2 weeks of mad voting, and then we open season 2 or whatever you want to call it with whole new top 3, I hope.
Yeah, we'll see, because Mel Gibson's been up in the top 1 or 2 for a very long time. He's at a plus 89, only 3 behind Donald J. Trump currently. The Ultimate Gentleman, according to you, the viewer and the listener.
Yeah.
DC, Donald and Mel were 2 of my strongest nominations, and it worked out for me. The Mel tapes.
Yeah, those were brilliant.
When we decided we were going to do this show, the Mel tapes might have been the first thing I thought of. It's like, oh yeah, I get to go for the Mel Gibson tapes. Yes, excellent. So I'm very happy with that, and we're gonna have a few weeks, and we're going to tell... we'll do the bottom 10 first.
So with 70% of the bottom 10, I'll start off with Nick Bate. If you don't remember him, he was the man that proved he actually was a poop-philiac by masturbating with poop on camera. So there's that guy. He's in...
And then he smeared it all over Chris Chan's face, and thus a character was born.
Mr. Poo-Poo. Nick Bate at minus 71. Your man, and nobody else's, Jerry Falwell Jr. at minus 85. Boogie 2988, who was arrested in May for firing an errant shot into the air.
That's right.
In his neighborhood.
That's a great video. God, I've loved that video.
Yeah. So did the prosecution, because it was an open and shut case. I don't know what's happening. I think he just went in for like preliminary hearings and stuff like that, and he posted bail because bail was like $5,000. So I don't think anything is going to happen to him except a slap on the wrist.
Until the next thing he does.
Onision, your other dude, minus 122. I haven't heard anything about him recently. I think he got canceled for all his abuse.
He got arrested at one point. I don't know if he's still in jail, because there was a domestic violence thing, wasn't there? So
that sounds right.
I have to check on Onision, see where he's at today.
Maddox, who is I guess risen, but in my mind, he's dropped because he should be in the bottom 3. The fact that he is at like 6th worst is a travesty at minus 139. I got to bring in some clips of him and really just get that going, because he's the worst.
You haven't done a Maddox
fucking worst
update in a long time.
Well, all his shit's behind a paywall. I'll get it. I'll get it. We'll find it. Darkside Phil, who is still not on Twitch. Still, I don't know how he's making money. He's probably begging on the street somewhere. Minus 143. Fourth worst outside of the bottom three is your boy, Jake Paul.
Darkside Phil turns into Outside Phil.
Outside.
I'm not streaming anywhere. The only streaming he does is bathing in a stream.
Yeah, because he's in Seattle, too. He's in Seattle, so, that is not unreasonable to think that he would be homeless. Like half their population, I think, is. Or pretends to be. If you're not homeless in Seattle, you pretend to be homeless to be cool.
Be counted as part of the population. Get inside.
Right. The census guy is like, yes. He just like goes up one side of the street, down the other. He's like, got half of them. Let's go to the houses.
His job is like the Mario Party game where you're counting the things on the bus, but they're all running backwards and forwards. And you got to keep track. You're like, I think there was 19 of them in that 10-foot section. It's like, oh, actually,
and there's
48.
like 27. Yeah, it's like 48. You're like, oh shit, wow, I really missed. Or you count 48, and there were like 10, but they just keep running back and forth. Fuck. Bottom three, without further adu, and without a clitoris, if you remember, Jonathan Yaniv, whose penis head fell off somewhere, found by a small child, presumably. Minus 173, because he's always around them. That's my point. Joe Biden.
Yes, DC.
Joe Biden, almost at the polar opposite end of the spectrum here. Minus 213, second worst. Tommy Tudor.
Oh, but DC, an update.
Yes.
An update on the Biden-Trump thing. There's actually there's a truck outside that's got some stuff in it that we need to count. So, by the time people see the graphic, it might look different. Biden maybe plus 300. You never know.
He might be. Just go now to www.twogoddamngentlemen.com/voting booth, and you know what to do. Let's get Biden down past Tommy Tudor. Just whatever, for the love of God, do not vote Tommy Tudor up. That's all I ask. You can vote everybody down below Tommy Tudor, but Tommy Tudor is still not low enough, even at first place in my heart. Minus 409. What an idiot.
He's not really minus 409. Oh my god. He needs to be bathed in it.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Casey got that detergent joke. I thought that was fun.
I'm sorry, I was reading. I'm terrible at multitasking. I have some gentleman updates, but they will be coming later on, possibly in my honoraries. So, Casey, I've been waiting a year for this.
You've been waiting a year for this. Yeah, before you start, because DC is opening, and he's really opening because it's going to be how we wanted to title this episode. It's literally it's how we wanted to title it in this order. So we've both been waiting a year for DC to do this nomination. Both of them were picked out before the show started. These were basically the two that we were going to do for episode 1. But then we decided, no, to get the figure out what the hell we're doing. Let's just roast each other for the first episode and get some kind of a theme.
Well, in my mind, I knew it was calculated. I was like, if we're going to really shit on people as bad as we're about to, for as long as this podcast lasts, we have to be the first two people so that we could always just point back and say, yeah, whatever. If you can't take it, go fuck yourself.
And I think if your first episode of any podcast were to be titled what this episode's going to be titled, you're probably canceled immediately. We needed some pattern of behavior leading up to this point to say, oh no, this is within the theme. This is fine.
Yeah. So before I get into my nomination, I just need to do something here real quick because my family is not going to want to be involved in any way with this episode. Oh, put that family picture down in KC. Roll the tape.
Oh boy, Sundays!
I love you, Jesus!
Oh, I love you too, fella.
Jesus Christ!
That's right, everybody. Jesus Christ. The ultimate gentleman. I'm going to prove it. Casey, I'm going to give you a little bit of context, okay? Because, obviously we're talking about God here. So, 4.4 million years ago lived this homunculus creature, named Artie, because its short for the scientific word that I'm not even going to try to pronounce that was some kind of humanoid. What?
Wasn't he on Stern like 10 years ago?
That sounds about right, yeah. RD. Not RT, RD with a D, Casey.
Sorry.
How dare you? Was one of the first hominids ever found. It was kind of crazy because it was like all short, and you could tell that the bone structure was mostly human-like, but on the feet, it was like monkey chimp feet. So like it walked upright and could like, you know, see further down the horizon than other shit, but it could grab trees with its feet, which is pretty awesome, I think. Fast forward to 100,000 years ago, the earliest burial of human beings was discovered, which is pretty significant because before that, it's like you died and like, whatever, okay, good luck. Like, whatever's going to eat you, or maybe they, I don't know, maybe they just threw them in the sea.
Threw him
probably
in a pile. I just threw him in a pile.
Just threw him in a pile, the dead pile.
Like Outpost.
Yeah, that's the fertilizer pile. We have crops to grow next year. So, fast forward 40,000 years ago is evidence of the earliest cremation. So they've moved from like burials to now cremation. They found 3 in like somewhere between Ethiopia, where the first people were found, and Samaria, where the first, I think it was in Turkey, actually. Anyway, in 38,000 BCE is the earliest anthropomorphic figure. So it's like, oh shit, half animal, half man, like maybe they worship this, you know, but still no real evidence of like religion yet. 25,000 BC. Clear examples of burials with proof of a belief in the afterlife, because they're burying them with their shit. Like they're burying them with their favorite toy or their arrows or whatever, you know, but there's no reason to do that if you don't think that they would need them later on. 7,000.
Their favorite slave child.
Like, their favorite, exactly. Their favorite slave child, favorite whatever it is, you know, their servant, they kill them, put them in the grave next to them. That's how it goes. 7,000 BCE, right? Finally, we find like worship sites, like kind of like first churches where they build like these weird monoliths and stuff like that. That's in Turkey, 7,000 BCE. 4,000 KC BCE. My boy comes along and creates the universe because all that other shit is horse shit. Okay? Don't believe any of it. 4,000 BCE, my boy creates the universe. Crazy. Out of nothing.
Well, good job by him.
Amazing. He creates like the earth first, but then he's like, oh shit, I need some light. Done. Oh, perfect. Already did it perfect, of course. Then he makes all the animals. Separates the night from day, right? The light he calls day, and the darkness he calls night, and the lesser light that rules the night is called the moon, you know? And the stars are there to be guides to people. They're specifically put there, you know?
It's all very reasonable so far.
All very reasonable, except that he created the light before the stars. But don't really think about, and also the sun is a star, but they didn't know about that. But the coolest part about what my boy Jesus did was the firmament. You know what the firmament is, Casey?
Sounds smell related, but I don't know exactly.
Have you ever wondered why the sky is blue?
No.
It's because Jesus did it. It's because Jesus did it, Casey.
That's not what Okay, all right.
And there are the upper waters.
Thought it was something to do with the angle at which you look at it, but no, okay.
No, the upper waters are separated from the earth by the firmament. It's like a glass dome.
Is that water out there?
It's the upper. It separates the waters above from the waters below. That's the firmament. Don't question it. That's just what it is.
No,
I'm just telling you.
It. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what Jesus did for us. So
it's kind of scary though. Like, how well is it made?
Right, and all these rockets, they're going to break the firmament, and the water is going to flood us again. Because that's the only way.
Sci-fi stuff you're talking about. Rockets,
well, that's the only way that there would be able to be another flood with enough water to cover the top of the highest mountain, which would be Mount Everest. That would require more water than exists on the Earth and in the atmosphere. So it would be positively necessary for there to be more water somewhere for it to come down from, so it has to be above the firmament. You see? You following?
If Like there's a parable I'll get wrong, but yeah, if it seems impossible, but you know it's possible, there's a way. Then the impossible way is how it's happening, and that must be because the sky broke and all the water came out.
You know what else seems impossible but isn't? For two people to have all these generations without terrible mutations and malformed diseases and all these kind of things. But it happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have those things.
It definitely happened because he created Adam and Eve. And
not Adam and Steve, am I right?
Not Adam and Steve, Casey. That's right. That's right. So Adam and Eve. Okay, let's give you a breakdown. So there's just two people. So they have kids, and then their kids fuck each other a lot. And then maybe Adam fucks the kids. Maybe. I don't know, because it would make sense. He's probably still fertile till he's like way old. And Adam lived to 950. So that's a lot of time. Yeah.
It's nowhere close to what
wow
Lot
is
did.
right.
That's nowhere close to Lot, though, right? Wasn't Lot way older than that, or am I forgetting that?
No. Lot only lived to be, I think, like 700. He didn't live.
I told
as long.
myself he was like 3,000 at that point.
Yeah, no. No. He was like 800 or 700 or whatever. Way too old. Way too old for reality. But
DC, they had decimals back then. You didn't know that? That's like 90 and 70. That's what they were talking about. It's 90.0.
90.0. Oh.
If he lived to 905, he was actually just 95 and a half or 90 and a half.
It was a misinterpretation of the scripture, I think. So, Casey, in my stupidness, I wanted to find out how long ago Adam and Eve was. And so I Google searched what year were Adam and Eve born, right? Because that's a
very confusing question.
What year were they born? So, Casey, next image. I'll give you the results that I got. First result is some nature.com nonsense, thinking I meant like the chromosomal Adam and Eve, which obviously I didn't mean, but they say they used these variations to create a more reliable molecular clock that found Adam lived between 120 and 156,000 years ago. That's when the singular Y chromosome would have been traced back to. And then a comparable analysis of the same men's mtDNA sequences suggested that Eve lived about 99,000 to 148,000 years ago. How about that? That sounds like kind of too sciencey, though. So I went down to more results. How many years was it from Adam to Jesus' birth? 3,974. So that's a lot easier, you know?
Yeah, that's a little it's a little less confusing.
I don't know what the first one was talking about. That seems like Antichrist, if you have to ask me.
That seems like witchcraft up there.
It does. So that aside, 4,000 years before Christ, right? Adam was born, and all his kids for a few generations lived to be super old, and they had some really fun times hanging out with Jesus, because as we all know, Jesus was the God of the Old Testament. He was Jehovah's Witnesses. You might have heard of that. They're witnesses of Christ, and Jehovah is talked about all the time in the Old Testament. Elohim being the supreme God, and Christ being the God of the Old Testament, which actually Christ is God and God is Christ. So don't forget that either. They are two separate, but not separate, and totally one person. But also there's the Holy Ghost, who is kind of like the spirit incarnation of the Godhead, but also he is God. So don't you fucking dare deny the Holy Ghost, Casey, because everything else that you could possibly do is forgivable under the eyes of Christ, but not forsaking the Holy Ghost. So do not do it.
But by the way, I got excited during that because as a confirmed Catholic that paid less than zero attention, if I were taking a test right now, I would have been so excited for that part of it. I would have been like, oh, I know this part. There's 3 parts of it.
There are 3 parts. I remember that.
I knew this part.
So,
what was the last name he said? Elihu? Who was Elihu?
Elihu? Elohim. You heathen. Okay, so KC, another fun tale from the Old Testament. God, Jesus himself, it gets involved when there are cases of sin, right? And one of those sins that God hates is the sin of, pulling out and coming onto the ground instead of into your dead brother's ex-wife, because your responsibility is to give your brother children by his wife. Because that's how it goes. And if you pull out and your seed spilleth upon the ground, the Lord God smiteth thee. That's what God did. That's what Jesus did. He just, and the Lord God smote him. That's the verse. And God smote him. Oh,
I don't
shit.
think he pays enough attention.
No details.
Or
no details
ground.
Is how.
Or ground is very specific. It only
Onto the
applies to
ground.
outside, because we're dodging bullets here, DC, if that's the case.
Casey, your days are numbered. Okay?
That's true.
There's a lot of things you can't forget about Christ. Not coming upon the ground is one of them. But also, he can do everything. Also, he works in mysterious ways, Casey. And we'll get into that as well. Lot, we talked about Lot. Rape is A-okay. Just do not, under any circumstances, look back when you're running away, because you'll get turned into salt or God knows what spice.
God
hates
oregano and sold on a school bus.
Yep, that happens. I got sold many an oregano. So Jesus hates when you look at his destruction. He does nah, don't look at that. You don't need to don't look at that. Don't look me in the face. You look me in the face, you're gonna die. Did you know that? If you look at God in the face, you'll die.
This almost sounds insecure, but
yeah.
I wouldn't want to suggest that.
So here was a little. This is a funny verse about Moses and his interaction with Jesus. Go ahead, next image here. So Moses says, "Now show me your glory." What do you think? What do you think that's all about? That's a loaded word. Now, I showed you mine. Now show me your glory. You know what I mean? It's weird. And the Lord God said, "I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, but not onto the ground."
Catch it, catch it, catch it.
No, not like that. and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I'm the Lord. Okay. And I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and compassion on whom I will have compassion. But he said, "You cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live." And then the Lord said, "There is a place where you may stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I will put you in the cleft in the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand and you will see my back. But my face must you not see." So God has, weird rules. He's kind of autistic like that. But we love him anyway. And the prophet Elisha later on had an incident where the Lord God had his back. Just like a gentleman always has his friend's back, Casey. Elisha was a prophet, if you didn't know. And he was walking along by the woods one day. And an army, whatever that means, of 42 young boys come out of the woods, and they all start just fucking with Elisha because he's bald as shit. So he's like, "Hey, get out of here, fucking baldy, you bald head, get out of here, bald head." And Elisha's like, "Oh yeah? Well, check this out." And then he prays or puts a curse on the kids, and 2 she-bears come out of the woods and rip these kids to shreds, just fucking rip them apart.
Wow.
And then apparently, according to the Bible, he counts the corpses before he leaves. That's how I knew there were 42 of them. So don't fuck with Jesus, because he controls bears, and his prophets will sick them on you if you make fun of their baldness. There was another man, he might have been a prophet or just maybe kind of a high priest or something like that. His name was Balaam, Balaam, weird Hebrew name. But he was somehow associated with the city of Moab. And the king of Moab saw like this horde of Israelites coming up on the hill. And if you
said, "Get the
know
bears."
anything, and if you know anything about the Bible and Israelites, you'll know that the bears will not touch the Israelites. They are going after anybody the Israelites are going after. And Moab knew this, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta call my friend Balaam, and have him come put a curse on these guys." So he sends envoys over to Balaam, and he says, "Hey, Balak says that you need to come over here and you need to curse the Israelites." And the guy's like, "Okay, let me ask God, and I'll let you know what he says." So he goes and he prays, and God's like, "No, it's my chosen people, you idiot. No, you're not doing that." So he says, "Nah, God says I can't do it." He sends him back. Balak's like, "Nah, dude, send more important envoys this time to tell him that he has to come here." Which, this is how you know the story's horseshit. If you already see the Israelites on the hill, by the time you send the first message, you're already done. You're toast. You're done. You don't have time for them to come back. We've all seen Game of Thrones. You don't have time for the envoy to come back and to be like, no. They're like, what was he, in the city? Like, he's like at the house next door. He's like, "Hey, God wants to know if you can come next door and curse these Israelites." "Nah, I can't do it." No, because then the story says that eventually comes back to God and says, "Yeah, they really want me to go." And God's like, "Fine. Just Christ says, "Fine, just go. I don't care. Just go. But you can only say what I tell you to say. Okay? Don't do what these guys want you to do. You go, but you're my guy. You're going to be an infiltrator. You do what I tell you to do." So here's the verses, Casey, after that whole exchange. That's just some context for you. Balaam's donkey. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went to the Moabite officials. But God was very angry when he went. I don't know why, because he said he could go. And the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey. We know, you said that. And his 2 servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into a field. Balaam beat it to get it back on the road. All donkey. Normal. All normal so far. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path in the vineyards, with walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat the donkey again. Of course. Of course he did. So then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn either left or right. So he's like, "All right, fuck it. Donkey, you're not fucking moving now. I'm standing right the fuck in front of you." The Lord is weird. Mysterious ways. Then the angel, sorry, I said that already. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it laid down under Balaam, and he was angry and beat it with his staff. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times? Balaam answered the donkey, Okay, wait. He answered the donkey. Just like,
well, the donkey
no
was
problem.
Talking.
Just no problem.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Shrek of the Bible. Balaam answered the donkey, "You have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." Didn't he have to ask God, like, before he did any of this kind of shit? Anyway, the donkey said back to Balaam, "Am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you?" "No," he said. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, so he couldn't even see the angel in the first fucking place. What the fuck?
He was just hallucinating?
No, he never saw the angel. The donkey was just seeing the angel and nobody else. So the donkey was freaking out, and he was beating the shit out of the donkey, and then the Lord's like, "I'm not going to show myself to him yet. I'm just going to let the donkey talk."
I thought Balaam was seeing the angel.
Nope.
Oh, Jesus.
So let's see. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed low and fell face down. Yeah, he would have done that the first time if you would have fucking just not played all these weird games. The angel of the Lord asked him, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. Again, you told me I could go." It's like a angry wife. "The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away, I would certainly have killed you by now." What the fuck? "But I would have spared it." What? Anyway, Balaam said to the angel of the Lord,
"I don't want to do this trip for you."
Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now, if you are displeased, I'll go back." Yeah. Like, hold on. if you're mad, I'll go back. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but speak only what I tell you. No shit!
That was the whole plan.
That was the plan from the beginning. Why did you... Mysterious ways, Casey. Mysterious ways.
God damn it.
He invented toilets. Next image. Here he is talking about the uncleanliness in the camp. When you are encamped against your enemies, keep away from everything impure. That's practical. If one of your men is unclean because of a nocturnal emission, what? He is go outside the camp and stay there.
Oh no.
But as evening approaches, he is to wash himself. And at sunset, he may return to the camp.
So if you shit at like 9 a.m.
This is a small tent.
If you shit at 9 a.m., you gotta wait by the river until like dusk, and then you can wash up and come back.
I guess. They didn't say anything about shitting, just nocturnal emissions. That's really weird.
Yeah, well, what else would that be?
A wet dream?
No way. Is that really what they're alluding to?
Yeah, that's what a nocturnal emission... Did you not have 5th grade sex ed class?
Is that what it's called?
A nocturnal emission.
I was just reading that as like.
Did your teacher just say, "Hey kids, you're gonna have wet dreams when you're"?
Yeah, we heard. Yeah, they said wet dreams in class. Legitimately, what the fuck?
That's really funny. All right, so Connecticut public school system, everybody. So yeah, if you have a nocturnal emission, you got to go. Like, oh, dude, this is a small tent. We can smell that. You got to get out of here. go, and then come back next day. Designate a place outside the camp where you can go to relieve yourself. As part of your equipment, have something to dig with, and when you relieve yourself, dig a hole and cover up your excrement. For the Lord your God moves about your camp to protect you and deliver you from your enemies. So it's like, clean up your shit. I'm walking here. All right, Casey. Next, we have Christ. Basically, he had... Well, how do I put this? Had sex with his own mother, a la Chris Chan. And she, birthed him, God, after God. Well, depending on what religion you are, God either physically had sex with Mary or the Holy Ghost went between God down into Mary and the baby was in there, but it was God already. But did God split? Because Jesus definitely talks to God or himself, definitely talks to somebody up there. So if it's not two different people, then why would he pray to himself down here? And why is the loophole for the whole construction of God building this place for him to become himself, to come down here and kill himself so that we can all... it makes no sense. All I know is that Christianity is a cult of human sacrifice. If you don't believe me, take the sacrament. All right, so Christ grew up kind of knowing who he was a little bit, and it showed when he got lost. I think he was 12 years old, and Mary and Joseph were coming back from Egypt or something crazy. I don't know what it was, but Christ veered off and just went to some temple. And by the time they realized he was gone, they were like, oh shit, bandits took him or whatever the fuck happens in Zero, Yeah. And so...
In 12.
In 12. And so they go back and Mary sees him in the temple, teaching these wise Jewish rabbis, right? Old men. And she's like, where were you? Your father and I were worried sick about you, talking about the cuck. Joseph. And he's like, that fucking cuck's not my dad. I was about my father's business. You don't know what? That's literally what he said to her. And he scolded her. It was awesome. So, a gentleman always puts their mother in their place. He hung with whores. Loved that. Mary Magdalene, being one of those whores. He saved from ridicule and scorn from society who were trying to slut shame her. And Christ drew some stuff in the sand in front of them when they were asking what should we do with this whore? We'll get him here because he's supposed to be all holy and his morals are good and stuff, but this is his friend. So we'll see what goes on here. And he starts drawing in the sand. He's like, and they start looking at it. They're like, oh shit, oh man, he's got us here. And they're sweating. And he's like, yeah, the guy who has no sins, why don't you cast the first stone. Pretty profound. But scholars say that he was drawing like names of other whores that they fucked in the ground. So they were all like, "Oh shit," you know, baller move.
He's just got intel.
Christ had a short temper.
Information is everything. Good job, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Leg up on everybody, asshole. So Christ had a short fuse sometimes. He went to the temple this one time, and there were these guys, like, you know, honest, hardworking men. But they were making some money in the temple, selling doves or whatever they were killing in there. And Jesus got pissed, and he flipped the table over, and he bust out a whip, and he starts like whipping people, you know, which like karma's a bitch, because we all know how that turned out. Casey, next clip.
In the face! In the face!
Oh, no. All right, guilty. Yeah, that, you know, that was a little bit much. Well, he made enemies of the Jews. And we all know how that turns out. So Christ died, obviously, after all this, resurrected. I mean, he came back to life after 3 days. And also, by the way, when he was killed, the whole earth went dark for 3 days. Completely dark, like the sun did not rise for 3 days. And how they would have known that back then with no sun, I don't know. And also the fact that it was omitted from all the historical records that were there at the time. China didn't know anything about this. They had been around for thousands more years. Didn't know anything about it. Also, the graves opened up when Christ was resurrected. During that 3-day period, the graves opened up and all the people came out. Like a thriller movie.
Wow. How is that not the main story? How's that not the headline?
Especially because they go back to their families. And like their families interact with them and they're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like the whole fucking town. But you're going to tell me that like the focal point of like why this religion is so awesome is because Christ like came back from the dead. Like so did everybody. Right? I mean, it was kind of a banality of the time, at least that day. So it's kind of funny.
It's just something he and a bunch of other people did that day.
Yeah, but he did do the clever thing, which, you know, if you come back to life, you're going to want to reveal yourself in front of a lot of queens, kings, other kinds of presidents of, you know, various lands to make him an impression, you know. But, well, I mean, he didn't do that. But he showed himself to, like, a few women at first, you know, who nobody would believe. Because I think in Jewish law, you had to have, like, a certain amount of women testifying together to equal the testimony of one man. And I think it was, like, 3 or 5.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So that was maybe not a good plan. But then he also showed up to his buddies who, you know, vested interest in that story being true. So that's kind of weird, too. And then, like, one of his good friends, Judas, like, he gets killed hanging from a tree and, like, guts came out and all this kind of stuff, if you believe, like, that part of the story. Another one says that wolves ate him or something like that. I don't know. It's been a long time since I brushed up on my Judas. But to this day, Casey, women are still seeing the resurrected Christ. Next clip.
He just sat there looking at me, and he lifted up his hand, and above his hand, I saw the world, and it wasn't a model of the world. It was, I knew as I saw it that it was the actual world.
Cool. What the hell does that mean?
What the fuck? Okay, now I understand. I fucked up with some confusion earlier, but that part. Now hold on.
And why?
Is he talking about shitting?
Why is it? Why is it always these geniuses, Casey? Next clip.
It was only after I started to gather all of these attributes of the person that I was looking at that I made the connection and realized who he was. And I realized I was looking at Jesus. And I realized that Jesus was looking at me.
Oh shit.
And there was disappointment. And there was disappointment in his eyes.
Ours too, buddy. Ours too.
Shit.
Ours too. So Casey, the the second coming, right? Now that Christ was resurrected, he went back up to heaven. He's like, I got more of my Father's business to be about. I mean, my business to be about. So I got to go. I got to mind my own business. You know what I mean? And goes back up to heaven, and people have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the second coming. Just like, Revelations say, all the signs of the times. There will be wars and rumors of wars.
At least half an hour, right?
At least.
You can't go.
And a protein shake. A protein shake helps. Gatorade and chocolate milk.
That's right.
So, all the signs of the times of shit that's, there will be wars and rumors of wars. Nations will rise up against each other, and the free will be enslaved, and the slaves will be free. Like all the shit that happens all the time. So people are always trying to figure out when the second coming is going to be. Some people think it already happened back in 70 AD. Definitely did. Christ came again, left. Now everybody can just calm down. You don't need to worry about it anymore. He came back. The rapture happened. All the good people were taken 2,000 years ago. Okay? We don't need to worry about that. We're the bastard children of the evil that were still left on the earth, and we're doomed to eternal hell. Like, why worry about it? Why worry about it? Casey, this next gentleman is kind of exemplifying one of the signs of the times, which is false prophets rising up. Next clip.
We all want to know what will happen in the last days leading up to the return of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Twerk, 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 twerk.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great what's happening leading up. But what a voice, though, on that guy, right? That was a great
that's
voice.
Pretty good.
Let's hear some more. This guy's awesome.
The first thing that is mentioned here is that people will love themselves only. Another word for this is selfishness.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a pimp voice, though, that he's got. Kind of stupid. But, when the topic is stupid, you kind of come off sounding kind of stupid. Like in this case, right? Tonight. So
yeah, he's sitting there, he's going, which is another word for selfishness. This is ridiculous. Did they read this? Did they read this before they sent it here?
Why am I here? This is fucking terrible. So, Casey, who is not a false prophet, but actually the second coming of Jesus Christ, I think this guy, and he's already here in Siberia.
Is the turmoil and conflict in the world right now worse than you've experienced?
It's assured that 80% of the Earth's population has serious mental disabilities. Perfect.
That's the number I've been using.
He's back. He's back. We just have to go to Siberia, into his little commune of white people, exclusively white people. Russia has no diversity at all. No melanin to speak of. Casey. Jesus Christ! I'm sure there will be lots of updates.
So happy.
Lots of updates with Jesus.
You think so? He's still active, still putting out content.
I mean, he does everything, Earthquakes, fires, child death, SIDS, it's all him.
All encompassing.
Yep.
It's all, oh boy. DC, that
yes,
was
sir.
Tremendous. What do you have for honoraries?
I want to start with something that's a little bit weird, I think. Go ahead and play the first clip.
Is that twerking? Are they fucking against the... Oh, they're just twerking. Against the ambulance.
Few people.
Lots of people. Yeah, it's just... Oh, all the other girls are twerking up against the ambulance. I better go twerk up against the ambulance.
While somebody's being loaded into it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I don't get it. Casey, our fearless leader, has some good news for us, but it's given like bad news.
So we have to get more people vaccinated. I said, well over, what's the number again? I remind myself, 350 million Americans have already been vaccinated. They're doing fine.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. They're doing fine. That's great news. Everybody's vaccinated, Casey. 350 million Americans have been vaccinated, but we need more.
Dude, do you know the feeling when you bring a girl around like the extended family for the first time, and like one of your uncles or somebody is gonna say something, and it's just like, uh-oh. How do you think Joe's family feels during these press conferences? They're probably like, oh, God. Oh,
I don't know. They're probably high. They're probably like super high on crack and meth and whatever Hunter is doing these days. All right, Casey, sticking with the White House, check out this prankster.
Sec. Democracy's calling. See you, Daddy. Bye.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and this is a day in my life as a White House intern.
We did it, Joe. Hey, everyone. Vote.
Usually I start off with a big coffee. Sorry, they're like really strict in here.
That's pretty good. That's pretty elaborate prank. There's no way this is real, though, right? Next clip.
Hey, Jenny. I booked you a nail appointment, love.
Yeah, I didn't tell you to do that.
It's called Initiative. Hi, White House. This is Cooper.
Oh, shit. This is real.
Yeah, DC, for our ladies show that we're recording tomorrow night, I was going to do a Jen Psaki update on what she's been up to in terms of good press for the White House. So, yes, I have seen this and perhaps already cut it up and will now be deleting it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, Casey, it's fine. It's all in good fun. It's probably not, there's probably not any, like, harmful propaganda going on in the video. Next clip.
We need to get shots in the arms of every single American.
Oh, good. It's just what we want.
He got paid for that.
God damn it. Mm-hmm. KC, my next clip I've just called These Guys.
Here, I got a question. What are these cameras for?
It's the news media.
Nah, I got a question.
Oh, the news media? What's up, y'all? Man, you follow me on Twitter.
Follow me on Instagram, Luca Brasher Jr. Snapchat.
That's awesome. These guys are freaking heroes, Casey.
Oh, that's so instantaneous. They were so quick with it.
Yeah. Hey, what are those cameras for, Judge? Oh, those are the news cameras. You can follow me on Instagram.
DC asked the White House. It's all about branding. It is.
It is, Casey.
You gotta be ready for it.
But you also got to make sure that you turn to the news at the right time. Next clip.
4 teens were arrested in the murder of a 17-year-old at a bowling alley in South Carolina.
Oh, man.
Yikes. Yikes. That's not good.
Not ideal.
You're standing here for murder. Oh, you can follow me on Instagram. Yeah. So, that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. KC, Space Jam sucks, but LeBron is taking it well.
No, I don't think that's LeBron James.
Oh, what? How can you tell?
Too short.
And the Brazilian he's speaking? That's all right. He'll be all right. KC, for episode 50, I wanted to go out strong, and I think I found the ultimate honorary gentleman. Next clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to put these crack rocks down in the swimming pool. We're going to dive down there for crack. Whoever gets the most crack is going to be the international winner. Only question I got is how long can we dive for the crack?
Until it's gone. Until it's gone.
Until it's gone?
Yep.
Oh, man, you understand me? That ain't going to take long at all.
Second emotion.
It could be in a pond with alligators. Huh? And I bet the crack man going to find it.
I'll bet the crack man going to find it, KC. I would have played the rest of the video, but it was just a bunch of naked black dudes like jumping into a pool poorly and coming up and being like, did everybody find it? How many found? And they're like, 1.
How many of those guys drowned?
3.
Trying to take it under the water. Oh boy.
Yes, sir. KC.
Well done. Well done. All right, I've got some honoraries before we head into my nomination.
Okay.
DC, my first honorary, we're going to head to the golf course. Place that you and I both enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy got to live all of our dream.
Oh, shit.
Right into the windshield of the passing car.
Oops. I shouldn't have been driving there. Shouldn't have been standing there.
He said 4.
That was 2. That was right there.
All right, so honorary 2, got a series of images here at DC. Uncle Alex is the person that we're going to feature here. We know he's an uncle based on what he types, and his name is Alex. He's a gentleman, and he tried to save the day. Check it out, DC. If your nephew's cat dies, lesson to be learned from Alex. If your nephew's cat dies and they want it stuffed, do not attempt to do it yourself. The more I worked with it, the more it kept stretching and falling apart to the point, well, thank goodness Halloween is around the corner. So let's check out the 3 images of the
yes.
stuffed cat.
Look at its ears.
It's tremendous.
Is that like a piece of a sock that he just sewed over its mouth?
I can't tell. An oven mitt. Let's go to image number 2.
Well, I didn't know it as a cat, but I did know it as a table.
And it did get longer. He said it stretched out.
The tail was good. I don't know if like maybe he worked his way to the tail, because he definitely didn't get better working from the tail to the head. So I hope.
That's really true.
And he should have started on the easy part first, if I do say so.
I would agree.
Taxidermy is not a young man's game, Casey. Or an old man's.
Good job by Uncle Alex. DC, our next clip. Terrible plans are always derailed by the work of a gentleman who works smarter, not harder. Here we have a guy running out of a department store. Oh, he's stealing that box, clearly. Throws it in the bed of the pickup truck.
Yep.
Terrible plan. Easily outdone by the gentleman. Who just heads back inside.
Who just got fired for going outside and getting involved.
Oh, all right. So DC number 4. Now this is one that I had seen in the past, and I wanted to honestly go through this clip in full honoring of our next honorary gentleman, which is Rich.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it until now.
So, Rich was at the time, a grounds crew worker for Alaska Airlines. And as you heard, going through a tough time in life. And I want to say that this nomination, not sarcastic in any way, or honestly making light of what could happen coming up later in this video. But out of 100% genuine respect for Rich's ability to, better than anyone I've ever seen, say fuck it in the most gentlemanly way possible. So,
okay,
in honor of Rich, let's go. ATC suggests Rich head to a nearby Air Force base, which is the closest thing to him. They're like, yeah, there's a big landing strip there. You could probably put it down there. And Rich talks us through that option.
There is the runway just off your right side in about a mile. Do you see that? That's McCord Field.
Oh man, those guys will rough me up if I tried landing there. I think I might mess something up there too. I wouldn't want to do that. Hopefully, they probably got anti-aircraft.
No, they don't have any of that stuff. We're just trying to find a place for you to land safely.
Yeah, not quite ready to bring it down just yet, but holy smokes, I gotta stop looking at the fuel because it's going down quick.
Okay, so not great. But Rich turns it around. He's got a good point here.
This is probably like jail time for life, huh? I mean, I would hope it is for a guy like me.
So ATC starts to explain to him, or explaining to the situation to, people we've all seen movies, right? There's always, they bring in the expert pilot, the guy who's been on that plane before, who can help set gauges and do all the important things that need to happen. So this guy's now on frequency, and the ATC is explaining it. So Rich is listening in, and he eases some of their concerns.
Right now he's just flying around, and he just needs some help controlling his aircraft.
Very good. Nah, I mean, I don't need that much help. I played some video games before.
So that's exactly how we would all feel in this situation.
Yep.
Be like, I've watched this before.
Man.
Like this, we're gonna pull this off.
I've played my brother-in-law's flight simulator. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, it should be fine. Rich is a gentleman, and he explains why he stole the plane.
Minimum wage. We'll chalk it up to that. Maybe that'll grease the gears a little bit with the higher up. Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not, but
maybe not. Probably not.
A valiant effort. Now we heard earlier, Rich
pay
said,
was probably docked actually for that incident to make up for the losses.
So we know that Rich has a couple screws loose. He said so earlier. Now this next clip is without context in any of the things that I've watched about this. And this only happened one time. I've listened to the whole thing unedited. This only happened one time, but it does confirm his self-diagnosis with the screws loose. This is the weirdest clip from here, and this is a one-off. Didn't happen at any other point.
Damn it, Andrew! People's lives are at stake here.
Now, Rich, don't say stuff like that.
Yeah, the ATC's like, oh, we're gonna have to act if you keep saying stuff like that.
I just want you to whisper sweet nothings
It's
in my ear.
funny, dude. Pulls out of it. That was awesome. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna crash. No, pulled out.
Yeah, we're gonna look back at that in a second. Curious about his job prospects as he moves forward.
Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Labs will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. Nah, I'm a white guy.
Oh, not sure what that part was about. But he is up to some gentlemanly things.
Hey, I want the coordinates of that orca with the mama orca with the baby. I want to go see that guy.
Or a loop. Sorry.
At this point, he's just having a blast.
You seem comfortable with that?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a blast, man. I played video games before, so I know what I'm doing a little bit.
All right, so this next clip, you just alluding to it. Now, these don't line up perfectly with the audio. I think these are spliced in and out. This clip is silent, and if you've been watching, he's been doing some cool stuff, but this is the ultimate maneuver that he pulled off, DC. Straight up and over toward the water and pulls out of it. How many feet above?
Oh, dude, 30,
100?
40?
Yeah, maybe.
It might look like less because it's water, but,
Unbelievable. Really, his best move.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, he's having a blast, and he really is enjoying himself.
In a commercial jet.
Yeah, legitimately. And he's having fun, and as you've heard multiple times, he's concerned, like he didn't want to put it down at the Air Force Base because he didn't want to hurt anybody there. He's not sure about his capability with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's having fun, and I think, he's clearly a little off. The end of this transmission probably didn't concern anybody.
Okay, and you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
Nah, everything's peachy clean. Just did a little circle around Rainier. It's beautiful. I think I got some gas to go check out the Olympics.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
He's pointed down while he's saying it. Like, oh, shit. Actually, you know what? Yeah, go visit them. They're all fucking worthless. Aim for the New Zealand chick lifting weights.
Let's see. 2 more clips from Rich. And if you don't know what happened, or if you remember back when this happened 3 years ago, this is the second to last clip. This should soften what you hear later.
But, I wouldn't know how to land it. I wasn't really planning on landing it.
So that kind of sets it up for you. And then lastly, again, I wish Rich landed the plane safely and got his shit together. That would have been perfect. But if you're going to go out like a gentleman, this is the way.
I think I'm do a barrel roll, and if that goes good, then I'll just go nose down and call it a night.
I mean, DC, I'm going to try a barrel roll. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I kind of have the banking down. You know, I got the wind patterns. I think I know what this thing altimeter is for.
Yeah.
Let's try. Ready, go.
Let's see what happens. He did exactly what his plan was, as you can see there. And honestly, R.I.P. to Rich. Seemed like a funny guy, honestly. I thought he was he was funny in a lot of the ATC stuff. So when he was talking about the video games. So shout out to Rich, and I wish he landed the plane. But an honorary gentleman.
And R.I.P. to Mike B's cousin. if you know, you know.
TC, final honorary for me. We have a gentlemanly 911 caller.
What's your emergency?
Hi, could you send somebody over to 20 Way?
So is everything okay?
Well, long story short, someone shot my wife.
Oh, that's not good. Let's listen to the rest of this call so we can try to get some clues as to what happened.
No, I don't think I'm in any danger. I think I'm good. I think it's a real shame how it happened. I don't know.
We're going to send someone over right now.
Yeah, definitely a third party. Definitely a third party that did it. Yep. Yeah, there's no need to really look around the house. I think it's just better that they come scoop her up and
Okay.
What?
May I ask?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. It was all kind of crazy. If I had to guess, she probably forgot somebody's birthday, and they were probably pretty upset about it. So someone fucking pulled out a 9mm and shot her. But like I said, I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on right now. I'm in shock.
There's no way this is real.
I know.
I'll get over it.
Yes.
Oh my god. You don't belong here, Jamaica. Oh man.
So now he can put single on his Facebook status. So good for him.
Is that what you do still? I have no idea.
I don't know. I haven't updated that in a long time.
Yeah, we need to go revisit that. You had some gems. I really should have done more of that in episode 1. Maybe I'll bring it back in episode 51.
There you go. All right. So as we said, we picked out these two gentlemen before we started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the closer for it. DC, a gentleman always introduces himself kinda. We'll say kinda for this.
Watch this. Here you go. I'm Hitler.
Yeah, Casey. Hey, welcome to the train one-way ticket to Cancellation Town.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so now you can understand why the first episode of this podcast wasn't called Jesus Christ and Hitler.
What's YouTube gonna do? Like, shitting on Jesus, but also nominating Hitler as a gentleman. We don't know what we love more. DC, born April 20th, and those of us born in the 80s and 90s knew that anyway because we remember Columbine. Austria-Hungarian descent, and he was a cute kid. Baby Hitler there. The hair already in place. It looks like a penis. Baby Hitler looks like a penis. That's funny. So this is the person everybody would go back and murder, which, Jewish penis. By the way. If you know what I mean. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? So his parents both came from poor families, peasant backgrounds. Mm-hmm. As a teen, his dad, Alois, was not the most, tender, loving, caring, outward support dad. Right? Is that surprising?
he was a customs official, and he expected young Addie, making that up, to follow a career into the civil service. His mom, however, was super nice, and he definitely liked her more. He was a smart kid, but uninterested in school. Just couldn't pay attention. Eventually drops out of school, which he'd regret. When he's 13, Dad dies, which is really good for Hitler because he didn't feel any pressure to do the stuff that his dad wanted him to do. Now, DC, a gentleman always follows his dreams, right? So he pursues his number one choice of study, which is
taxidermy.
Negative, it's art, DC. And you can tell by the style. I mean, look at the socks and the shorts.
Those are sweet, dude.
It's
Bring that
tremendous.
back. Bring that back.
And,
hey, did you know the lore behind Hitler's mustache?
No.
In World War I, when he was fighting for the Germans, gas was a huge problem, mustard gas, and his mustache was too big for his gas mask, so his superiors made him shave it so that the mask would cover just skin, so he shaved everything but to there. So that mustache saved Hitler's life in World War I. It's the worst style, and Michael Jordan couldn't even save it.
Impressive that he tried. So DC, he attends art school. Him and his mustache. Or probably not quite yet. Ed regards himself as an artist. He starts, trying to take in as much culture as he can. He's going to the opera, the theater. He's reading. He's drawing. He's doing all this stuff. We're going to have a few examples tonight of Hitler's art. We'll be using them to break up some of the other content that comes with Hitler. So,
all right,
DC, here we
Painting
have
with Adolf Ross,
our first Hitler, right there. What do you think?
Ooh.
We have Tree.
1 million.
Sold.
Do I hear two?
You don't. 1907. He's 18 by this point. Back in his socks. He moves to Vienna. He's going to go attend the Vienna Academy of Art. But he moves there before his application is accepted, and it's rejected. So now he's just in Vienna. He's just kind of stuck there. He can't get into the School of Architecture either, which he wanted to do, and he can't do that because he dropped out of school when he was a teen.
Right.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Hate it when that happens. And times
Damn
are
that
tough.
abstract art. It doesn't go along with architecture at all. Like, fuck. Your lines are terrible. Well, that's subjective. I'll kill you! Mr. Horowitz! I'll kill you!
Somebody should have just taken the application. Times stay tough until, from, what is he at that point? 18, now he's 23.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Vienna. He's out of money. Living in a hostel with a bunch of other guys. Only way he's making money in and out of other jobs is selling postcards with drawings that he put on them. But otherwise, he's just taking menial job after menial job, just trying to survive. Mm-hmm. And at this point, he just says, you know what? I got to learn something. So he starts learning about politics. And he says, all right, I'm going to attend some city-town meetings. I'll read newspapers. We'll see what I can learn here. So now he's 24.
Socialism, you say? Interesting.
He's 24, and here's another theme amongst gentlemen that we have found here in our first 50 episodes. It all faces the prospect of being drafted into military service. And he's like, probably gonna head to Munich. See ya. So he heads out, dodges the draft. This move is possible because he had a very small inheritance from his father's estate, which I guess finally got to him. And even though he gets to Munich, his life basically stays the same until World War I, as you already alluded to. World War I, a gentleman knows when he was wrong, and he volunteers for service this time.
But never admits it.
Of course. He just volunteers for service this time. And he joins a reserve infantry regiment, and he thrives there. He gets promoted to corporal. He eventually gets decorated with the Iron Cross, which he was wearing when he killed himself. Fast forward to 1918. The Yankees traded for... No, that's not what... at the time of the armistice, Hitler is in the hospital, suffering from temporary blindness due to, and DC alluded to it before, a British gas attack, which is ironic because I mentioned the suicide. That was all over a gas bill. So ironic that he had the pains.
Well, who would pay it, him or Ava? And you're like, yeah, you pay it. No, you pay it.
I can't afford that.
How much gas? Where's my accountant? You killed him. Ah, where's my lawyer? No.
I definitely killed him.
Well, shit, I already swallowed this pill. Where's my doctor? Oh, you're really going to hate this, but...
Do you pay attention when you give these orders? So, DC, by the time he's 30, he's intent on remaining in the army. He has found a real purpose in his life, and he's put on the intelligence and propaganda section of the army. And he goes through official political training. His activities basically are go around and make speeches to the German soldiers, teach them about nationalism, anti-socialism, all this stuff. And he became a great public speaker. Now, before we continue, because we know
a little loud, but he was good.
Before we go too far, we have our second piece of art, DC, if you would.
Those knees.
Yeah, the knees are so good. Let's analyze this building here.
Okay. The shadows seem to be okay. The people don't have them. That's kind of weird.
Nope, no shadows on the people.
Street light doesn't have... He kind of gave up. After the shading on the building, he was like, great! Everything else is fine! Everything else is fine! It's fine. I mean, the angles are terrible, and the building itself, if built, would fall instantly. But it's fine.
And again, these are all the paintings that, if sold, could have really saved a bunch of things. He is an informant for the army as well at this point. DC spying spying on small political parties, and he joins the German Workers' Party, which is
that sounds like something you could get behind, Casey.
It certainly
that sounds
does.
like something you could really get behind. You know,
the German
fervently.
Workers' Party. It's true. Extreme anti-communist, anti-Semitic, right-wing organization. At least that's how it's listed. Hitler's entry into politics. He's discharged from the army at 31. And in the German Workers' Party, he starts to control the publicity and the propaganda of the whole party. He's like, I can do this better than you guys can. And he changes the name of the party as a part of his marketing campaign to the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi for short. How about that?
How about
there he is being rejected a high five.
And his mustache conveniently looks like a shadow under his huge, non-conspicuous nose. Wink, wink.
So, nobody notices. Yeah, nobody sees it.
Nobody sees anything.
Now, he's formed the Nazi Party. Let's look at some art. This is a really blurry, lame landscape. This was my least favorite of his drawings. Yeah,
it's drawn that way? That wasn't just a bad Google search?
It's both. It's a bit of both. DC. It's a bit of both. So, the party...
Jesus.
Party represents a combination of intense hatred for all the politicians that they have considered dishonorable toward everything German by signing the Versailles Treaty.
And brilliant science.
and that. 1921, Hitler challenges Anton Drexler to become leader of the Nazi Party. After a little bit of resistance, Drexler is like, okay, yeah, cool. And Hitler takes over. And immediately within a couple years, attempts to overthrow the Bavarian government. He's like, let's just take over.
Why not?
The plan was not perfect. It was known as the Beer Hall Putsch. Now, what happened was some gentleman shit, I guess, but didn't work out. Hitler and 2,000 Nazis just march into the beer hall and take over a meeting that is chaired by the 3 most important Bavarian politicians at the time.
In a beer hall? That's cool.
Yeah, I guess. So the following day, they're like, all right, let's leave. And all the police are outside. They just start shooting at them. Like, they didn't have anywhere to go. Hitler gets away from not getting shot, but he does get captured, and he's sentenced to and serves 9 months in prison for the uprising, which is worse than what the guys got on January 6th.
Yeah, for the quote unquote self-guided tour through the Capitol.
Yeah, through the beer hall. So during his imprisonment, that's when he started to work on dictating some of his thoughts with Rudolf Hess. A story he was to call My Struggle, or Mein Kampf. Not great. We know where that goes.
That book is so big, dude.
Yeah?
It's like that thick. And my grandparents had it at their house, probably for historical reasons.
I would imagine so. Yeah. Excuse me. Hitler's half-sister now moves into town. She's going to move into his house with him, and her daughter comes with her. And there was a lot of suspicion and under everybody's breath accusations about Hitler's potentially inappropriate relationship with his niece. He was asked about it during an interview about if there was any truth to these filthy rumors.
Nine.
But there might have been, but he says no.
He just painted her. Okay,
that was it.
All that happened.
Yeah, painted her with the stick. 1930. He's 41, and he and the party stock is rising. In the general election, the Nazis are basically taking over. They had 14 guys in parliament, now they got 107. It's the second largest party in the country. And by 31, he challenges Paul von Hindenburg for the presidency, but he fails to win. And in the same year, the daughter, Geely, is found dead at his flat from suicide at 23. So, again, no idea what was going on.
The half-sister's daughter?
Yeah, the sister's daughter. Yeah, dead
shit.
at his flat in Munich. So sad for her. Now the rise to power begins, becomes a German citizen, so now he can have proper standing in the election. Him and Goebbels are the first to engineer a campaign via aircraft messaging. So they were pulling signs up in the air, and it was Hitler over Germany was their campaign. Just brilliant marketer, if nothing else. He becomes chancellor of the coalition government. They destroy the Reichstag. They burn it to the ground. The government completely shifts. Different treaties and acts are put into place. The Enabling Act power of legislation goes to Hitler now and his cabinet. They basically take over everywhere. Nazi governors or regular governors are being taken over by Nazi officials, and they're just taking over the whole country.
And World War I treaties go out the fucking window.
They made it their number one goal. They're like, the Treaty of Versailles, that's the worst. That's the worst. So we're going to have to...
We will be building our army, and we will be initiating the greatest technology war-wise that anyone had ever seen since Germany in World War I. Damn the United States and their money.
And through that exact time that DC was just talking about, Communist Party gets banned, socialism, trade union strikes banned, all of it banned. They're just, it's our way. It's nothing. It's nobody else's way. It's no old idea. Hitler withdraws them from the League of Nations, triples, like you said, the size of the army, and ignores every armed restriction from the Treaty of Versailles. Then, I mean, of all the gentlemanly things, this might be number one.
Attacks Poland. Oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Yeah, you're so soon, but it's so close, but not quite yet. The Night of the Long Knives, DC. Do you know that one?
Mm-mm.
That was the night
Tell me
that
about
he had, or it was over basically a 3-day span, depending on which article you read. Had all of his opposition murdered, Breaking Bad style. Just like, all right, let's just take them all out at once. This is a headache. There are so many of them.
Dead men do not enact vengeance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're very limited in their capacity to fight back. July of 1934, little known historical fact, after President Hindenburg died in a balloon accident, Hitler became Führer and Reich Chancellor.
Accident.
That was my favorite joke. That was my favorite one. And abolishes the title of president. So the Third Reich begins. Yep. He undoes the Treaty of Versailles, like we talked about. Everybody just basically kowtows to him at the beginning. The Austrian chancellor's like, come into Austria. It's cool here. You're Austrian. You know, they become a part of the whole deal.
Don't worry about this singing family over here. We'll get rid of them.
The Munich Agreement is signed by like a bunch of the European leaders, including Great Britain, giving them power over all of the German towns in Czechoslovakia on the border. So they're just expanding.
Right.
And then we reach, well, we're not going to go through much of the detail from here because we all know the story from class. In what historically referred to as the Crystal Night, 7,500 Jewish shops. This is November of 38. 7,500 Jewish shops are destroyed. 400 synagogues are burnt down. The attack is portrayed as the spontaneous reaction because a local official got killed, and they were like, "Oh, the Jews did it," but they didn't. So it's orchestrated by the Nazis, who kill everybody they can find, and this was the beginning of the Holocaust. So after that, let's look at some art, DC. It's a lovely picture of mom and daughter. Right, their son, who knows? But I thought that was a little lighthearted. Take us back.
Yeah, that's nice.
1939. Back in it. Peace treaty with Russia is secured, and as you alluded to,
yeah,
into Poland.
Please don't hurt us for what we're about to do. You got our back, right?
Yeah.
Surely this won't be a bad idea.
We got your back too. Ho-ink, ho-ink. So now they're in Denmark, Norway, Holland, Belgium, France, Romania, Yugoslavia, the entire
all
F1
the pussy
calendar.
Countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire F1 calendar, aka the pussy countries, aka Europe.
That's right. June of 1941, Germany attacks Russia. Damn it.
Whoops. Whoops.
The invasion of Russia begins. Pearl Harbor happens, and after that, shit really starts to go downhill. You know, somebody showed up to the party. I should have put in USA KC there.
Dude, the United States just hired a bunch of riches. They were like, "Hey, dude, can you just fly that into our shit, and we're just gonna say you're Japanese because we can't figure it out of the burning, smoldering wreckage." We really are itching to use these bombs we haven't invented yet, DC.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've been tricked in. We've been tricked in before.
Gulf of Tonkin. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in another day.
What the hell? What was the name of the boat in World War I? The
maybe the chat. Maybe the chat could say. Maybe the chat could say a whole bunch of other things that maybe we got into. Who knows? Patroness knows some shit. I know she does.
Hitler survives an assassination attempt. And honestly, this is what I read, how it happened. Colonel Stauffenberg placed a bomb in a briefcase under a table next to Hitler, which I think is where Tarantino lost his page. He was like, and it blew up, and they shot him.
Yeah. I think that was in the Valkyrie. I think it was in that Tom Cruise weird fucking Nazi movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it was weird. But that was in there. He put the bomb in a suitcase next to him, and then it was a fucking dud or something. It never went off.
Tom Cruise got defeated by Michael Richards on this podcast. Never forget.
That's where he was nominated. I was like, didn't you nominate Tom Cruise? I can't nominate him. Didn't he? That's what it was.
It was a half nomination. You could go back if you wanted to.
He's a half man, so it makes sense.
It's accurate. January of 45, the Soviets come into Germany.
Yeah, it's a rough year. Rough year for Hitler.
The whole thing is coming apart, and he decides, I'm staying in Berlin. This is pretty much it. He commits suicide. Eva Braun's with him. Supposedly their bodies were cremated, and thus ended the whole reign of Hitler and this nomination. But before we go, say what you want about him, but he can't be that bad a guy. He killed Hitler. So
yes, he did kill Hitler, and then he did not go to Venezuela or Argentina or wherever else.
Or wherever he is. Oh, DC, Jesus Christ and Hitler. Boy, oh boy, what a show.
Yeah, well, no matter how you boil it down, they both had their unique and very serious struggles with the Jews. So,
all right, we are officially taking a break. Check out the bonus show if you're on Patreon, or if you're thinking about it. Now's the time as we head into. I mean, it's not really season 2; it's just going to be episode 51, but it'll feel like season 2 because we will start eliminating gentlemen every week. So we have 2 weeks off originally planned, but then since we nominated ourselves week 1,
we're going to delete ourselves week 51.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll revisit ourselves.
Oh, good. Oh,
I think we have more to talk about ourselves, right?
True.
We probably have some things. True. We got some digging to do, and who knows? Maybe we'll do away with some things. There's going to be some changes. It's 2 weeks. Who knows what's going to be back? But we'll be back, and the Goddamn Gentleman will be back. You can find us at 2GoddamnGentlemen in the meantime.com and patreon.com/2GoddamnGentlemen. Tell your friends, guys. The YouTube channel is growing slowly but surely. I think we're like 51 subscribers or whatever.
That's right.
But it's pretty good. So tell your friends. We'll see you in fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah, no matter what changes, you can always head to 2GoddamnGentlemen in the meantime.com as the search for the ultimate gentleman continues.
Something just happened very bad is what happened, guys.
Wolves aren't gay, USA.
That's what you get for talking all that shit, you fucking asshole.
So there you go. Isn't that a great story, ladies and gentlemen?
Life is an imperfect affair at best.
Andre is shocked.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.